So Monday, we're here. Frederick, Jules is here. I'm trying to figure out how to get this Wi-Fi working, right? So let's figure out the Wi-Fi situation. Yeah, let's do it. And so we can get our other team members with the Wi-Fi. We're gonna have training today at 11. So we got the conference room from 11 to 1. We got Cadobo catering for lunch. That should be good. Probably later on have to move these boxes tomorrow. And Frederick again set up the boxes, put up the pictures and everything. But no, it's a nice office, man. It's actually really nice. It's actually really, really nice. So Then hopefully this week also we'll go back to Silver Spring. Go to Bethesda, but I got a bunch of admin stuff to do. So let's see how it goes. All right. So we're here meeting. Tell the vlog what we're going to be talking about today.
Hi, good morning. So today we are going to be just talking a little bit about the Victims of Crimes Act. And additionally, we're going to be talking about risk mitigation, a little teeny tiny bit of de-escalation. I brought my mom in as a guest speaker as a person that has survived bombings and all kinds of things. So this will be a wonderful opportunity for clinicians to ask her questions and to learn about kind of some of the things that might go through a person's head if you've never directly been in a situation where you're facing a loss of life. Okay, good morning everybody. Today is October 6th, 2025, and today we're just gonna be dipping a teeny tiny bit below the surface of VOCA. My purpose today is try to give you a little bit of understanding of VOCA fundamentals, because we are having this influx of clients that have been referred by FBI, domestic violence centers, that sort of thing. So VOCA basically came about by a lot of advocacy efforts in 1984. In 1984, a bunch of advocates had the idea that it would be really smart to basically have offenders pay for victim services, because when something happens to you, of course, you need restitution, you need services, sometimes medical care, sometimes prosthetics, sometimes therapy. So basically this was the federal government's way of creating a system that offenders would pay into, making these restitution federal payments so that they could get services and we wouldn't have to add a tax. Especially right now in the current political climate, a lot of the VOCA funding is unstable. So I think our best bet around that instability is to form relationships with the regional navigators that are within the state of Maryland and kind of find out, like, how much do you have to spend? How much would you like to spend on services? Because typically they're happy to be able to outsource things like therapy. There's a lot of Congress enacted legislation that it's very confusing, but the crux of it is still really the same. That we want victims to be in the driver's seat. We want victims to be able to choose how much they want, to be released about them. So if you have to make, for example, a CPS report on a client who is a victim of crime, you really want to have that conversation with the client about what level of disclosure is safe for you. I don't want to make, if a person has, like, say, fled their home because they're being trafficked by a parent, the last thing that I'm gonna want to do is to get the legal system involved in a way that would obligate that person to be in more danger, if that makes sense, to be more beholden to the trafficker. What does it look like from the inside? Because as we're enhancing our own risk mitigation efforts within our group practice, I think that's helpful, because today we never know what we're gonna have to face. So she's on my dad's account for some reason. But are you there, Ma?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, so could you share some of your history with the public and private banks?
Sure. I'll start off by just introducing myself and just giving a little bit of my background. My name is Rosemary Dutton, and until my recent retirement, I spent 40 plus years in the financial industry. When I graduated from high school, I wasn't certain which direction I wanted to take as far as my career plans. And I had desires to be a registered nurse, but I was also leaning towards fashion design, merchandising, and marketing. I did end up getting a degree in fashion merchandising and marketing. But what I did was I joined a regional bank after graduation with the intent to stay for a couple of years and save money to attend nursing school.
When you look back on the bombings and the robberies that you survived, did you ever have a sense on those days that something might happen? We talked a little bit about this last night, like the premonition kind of stuff.
Right, I did have one instance where, now the bombing I did not have a premonition on. That was totally off guard. However, I did have a situation where I did have a premonition earlier that morning, I had a premonition that something was going to happen that day, but I quickly brushed it off. But around lunchtime, we had two robbers armed with sawed-off shotguns enter the bank, wearing pantyhose on their faces, and they had gloves on their hands. And one jumped over the teller counter with the gun, while the other one held the gun on the employees who were present in the office. And we had been told to kneel on the floor. So while kneeling on the floor, the woman beside me, one of my colleagues, kept popping up because she was nervous. And I would sort of gently grab her jacket and pull her back down on the floor. And this happened 3 times, and which terrified me, and I was grateful.
It was an enormously difficult time. But I also, as your kid, I have witnessed all the ways that you have persisted, and that you have been incredibly resilient. Would you mind walking us through some of those experiences? Maybe particularly, I think, one that might be valuable because it's similar to what we could possibly face in an environment like this one. Will you talk about, I think it was the smoke bomb incident? Will you just walk us through the series of events, but not only what happened, but what you were thinking?
I did experience a bombing at one of our offices, and the robber came in and went to an individual with a note and asking for money. And unfortunately, this particular individual did not follow protocol.
The person that was serving the person that was committing the crime didn't follow protocol?
Yes, the teller that the robber went to did not follow protocol, which in turn made him angry. And he threw a bomb at her. At that time, we did not know it was a smoke bomb. And but it quickly filled the office up with smoke. Of course, then at that point, she immediately complied, did what she had been trained to do, which is to comply with their demands.
But, so, did it help that, so my father at the time of some of these was the chief of Homeland Security. And so at home, we had a culture of risk mitigation. That is kind of a lifestyle for us. Do you think that helped you in the moments when you were facing those kinds of threats?
Yes, I think that it has, because it's something that always remains first and foremost on my mind, on our minds, is to be safe. How do you stay safe? And it's important to be aware of your surroundings, and I've learned to do that, especially living with someone in law enforcement. Looking for exits when you enter large buildings. big box stores.
I think it was they wanted to gain power and they wanted to feel like they were more powerful than I was. And I understood that. So one of the first things I said was, well, you have all the power here. I don't have any power. You're the one with the gun. So I'm just going to listen to what you have to say. And he ranted and raved, and sometimes de-escalating can take hours. I believe that was like 4 hours. It went on and it went on and it went on and it went on. And it's okay to delay like that, because if he's talking to me and he's venting and he's saying, I'm so angry about all of this stuff that happened in Syria and X, Y, and Z, he's not shooting people. So recognize that too, that like if it takes a long time doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. Possibly those with PPT, absolutely. I looked at many profile sheet, and borderline and bipolar is certainly one that I would pay close attention to. But typically we looked at behaviors in clusters. So like if you have one thing by itself, that's a little different than 3 all grouped together. So if I have a history of violence, I have a history of acting out, and I have a lot of resentment, the 3 things together are going to make me pay attention to that. Whereas one in isolation, if the person has coping skills that are pretty sound, I'm not going to really look at that too hard.
I noticed that you said, staying calm and trying to de-escalate the moment is really important. But I mean, when you're going through situations like that, like with yourself, whether that was you trying to help the lady, how do you really stay present and mindful and aware and calm? Like what thoughts, do you go through to get yourself to be calm? Because obviously, right, it's such a tense situation.
Right, that's a good question. It's very difficult to remain calm in a threatening situation, but it does take a lot of practice, and that's where my mindfulness kicked in. And just trying to remember what I need to do at that particular time. So staying in the present is what works for me, but the mindfulness is what helped me to get there, to remain calm, to the point that, people have said to me, I can't believe you were calm, you were so calm in such an incident, but it's something that you have to learn. It doesn't come naturally, it takes a lot of practice. And again, for me, it's been the mindfulness, just the breathing to keep myself calm. Nobody can see it, nobody reacts to it, but it just has a really good calming effect. Breathing in, breathing out, it helps reduce the anxiety, lowers your heart rate, and it just, it works for me. It works that way, but it is something you have to practice daily.
So way back, in a position where we were doing a little bit of work in combination with a 3-letter governmental organization, I encountered this guy. We'll say he was from Florida, okay? He was someone that I had to report to. And this dude went to the Middle East and was forever getting arrested and captured by these dangerous insurgent forces. Forever. I'm like, how are you still alive? And he's like, well, what I do is when I get arrested, I just talk to the jailer like he's my friend. Like we're sitting there with a couple beers. And in every case, they let him go. And it was upwards of 4 or 5 cases. And that was just accomplished by connecting and just making sure that other person sees your humanity. Like, oh yeah, my mom this, or my dad that, or my kids this. Or, yeah, I actually can relate to what you're saying, because I felt that way when X, Y, and Z happened. It's harder when people see you as people to do some kind of violent action, for the most part.
Asking me on the call today and thanking everyone for their time. And I certainly hope that I've added some value to you. And I just wish everyone a wonderful week.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Rosemary. It was definitely a great pleasure and honor to hear some of your experiences. And I wish we could have got you in person. You know, I told I told her kind of late, so I had in classic Frank fashion. I was like, well, so we were here last week, and then on Friday I'm like, maybe I want to come back here. No, I have to get Chris. Wait, you can't see Chris in the camera, but yeah, I gotta set him up in here. So, but thank you so much. I've definitely been blessed. I've definitely learned. The one thing that you said, of the many, right? The one thing that really stuck out with me was self is wealth and wealth is self. That was, yeah. So that's one key takeaway. Thank you so much, Ms. Rosemary. Thank you, Jules, as well. I know she wanted to do this back in September, and I kind of planned it, right? So, but it's a nice setup, right? We did it properly.
Well, great. Well, thank you again.
Alrighty. So I'm going to disconnect you because I think.
Well, thank you, Ms. Rosemary.
Yes, because we're going to talk about some clinician stuff.
You can be harsh.
Goodbye, Mom.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
If you ever want to meet her, she's very.
All right, good morning, all. Beautiful Wednesday morning here. It rained a little bit. All right, so we're back in Laurel today. Yesterday, quite an adventure. We had Randy and Sindora in Frederick, so we had some furniture thing. Didn't get to do the Bethesda as well. So, so today, just strategizing in the office, right now it's really, really slow. It's a really, really slow period. So we're going to be working on, content ideas, meeting with Bruce or Adriano to get his marketing strategy and plan for to reach out to do the internal marketing. So he's our internal sales agent, right? To see if we can get some internal sales for the IV drip. And yeah, right now it's slow, which makes sense, right? Because, government is shut down, the 8th or 9th day. People, you got the holidays coming, you got everything. And so, yeah, we just work on them, getting content, email marketing. Yeah, so we'll just work on just content, things on my prayer list, right? So I want y'all to get back to doing the Christian CEO as the labels for the vlogs and everything. I have to pray about the primary care, right? So we pretty much have everything to do. We have the staff. We just gotta get another exam table. I don't know why. I thought I was done with it, right? But, lesson learned. Primary care and urgent care, to see, because we already have the staff for it. We just got to do the credentialing, right? So, yeah, that's my thought right now. And, we just, just more internal stuff, clean up work, really trying to see, got some interns that need extra hours, so trying to see what they can do and how we can record it, make additional content. And that's So that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'll update you all, as the day goes by. All right, so got the 10:30 management meeting on Wednesday. Man, haven't done this meeting in a while, just trying to catch our breath, man. Just been, running around various things. Just, y'all know how it is, man. I had the Frederick office, Silver Spring, onboarding folks, troubleshooting issues. So right now, hey, catch our breath and, see what the team is up to and see how everything's going. All right, so. All right, good morning.
Hey Frank, I got no issues, but I was hoping to have Miss Miss Zuena join our 11 a.m. meeting so she can discuss a survey that she needs for her doctorate or school. It's more of like a survey for ADHD, incorporating it to therapists' sessions, basically.
Okay.
I think she needs 10 participants among our therapists or providers.
Okay.
Checking in if we have any plans for the next couple of 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. meetings in the next few weeks. Maybe I can put her into one of those.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. Everybody in here is in Trello, correct? All right. So this week, let's focus on cleanup of Trello. I'm going in there today. I know we have a bunch of cleanup items, but yeah. So add this to Trello. Add this as an issue, right? Zuena's what is it? Zuena's thing. What I'm gonna actually do is on Wednesday, actually, we're gonna have we're gonna do more like on Monday's meeting. Monday is a holiday, right? So full time is off, but for interns that need like extra, so essentially here for interns that need extra, what is it called? Extra hours. I'm gonna keep it open. So we're gonna have it's gonna be a psychoeducational group, right? And folks are going to be presenting on a psychoeducational topic, right? So again, full time is off, but this is going to be an optional, right? So let's do this. RJ, send an email out to all teams. Okay, Gemini is taking. All right, so action item. RJ, send an email out to all teams. Let them know, hey, the Monday call is going to be optional. And we actually want to do it more of a psychoeducational group. We want to do a more of a psychoeducational group for interns that are struggling to get their hours, right? All right, so for Gerald, sorry, 1 second, RJ. All right, so right now, slow season right now, so, trust me, I'm feeling it because I got a bunch of full-time folks that we're paying, but we're not able to get their schedules filled. So what we'll work on focusing on what we can control, right? What we can control is making content, educational content through articles, increasing our SEO, providing educational groups, just can continue to provide value in this time. So, looking to do some internal cleanup and also just provide value. I'll talk about seasonal depression disorder, do peer support group, really just provide educational content. Right? I think that's what we can start off with, and that's what we'll do. All right, so we're here, man. One issue, Google Ads, not able, for whatever reason, we're not able to run the payments, so they probably cut off our ads, which, for better or worse, maybe it'd be better. Hey. it'll force us to fix their ads or fix our marketing and promotion. So that's the issue that we're running into right now. Yeah, midday, just have meetings, and more meetings, you all know. So probably do another midday coffee, and yeah, just not much else. You know, got a 1 o'clock here, look at the to-dos, and yeah, tell us how your midweek's going, Randy.
Just making corrections as far as the real estate goes, and then keeping up with the wellness. So the wellness side is going good. A lot of content coming soon, a lot of long form content, so stay tuned for that. Delegating, readjusting, so talk to Rajana on how we can get some short form content for the wellness. I guess we were running into issues with it being too long for Instagram, so we are re-strategizing. So every time she makes long form, she'll cut it down into 67 clips. So just course correcting with everything. So yeah, stay tuned. Just a quick update. So reviewing our IV hydration brochure. So looks good visually. Frankie sent it over, but Frank asked me to email Bruce just to get his input based off of the conversations they had yesterday. So here's a preview. Visually it looks really good, but as far as the content inside of it, let's see if I can show you that as well. There's a backside as well, that's the front. But yep, just getting the information. So we'll check in.
Vlog. All right, got my jacket on. A little bit windy today. Just gonna be meeting with the staff. Obviously, right now it's just been slow. Right, just been very, very slow in terms of getting clients. So just gonna come up with a strategy, right? Marketing strategy, and yeah, I'm gonna get Randy to help, upload the files, upload all that stuff that they're gonna be doing, and we're just gonna be strategizing, coming up with a plan, and yeah, so. So we are here meeting with Renee from Armin. I forget where she is, but meeting. So we're gonna figure out how to better work and collaborate with each other. Hey y'all, Frank Latte with the Lartey Wellness Group. Thanks again for watching. Please stay tuned for more, and remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thank you.